is a video I'm making on what you need to begin ice fishing. This is nowhere completely what someone might need, and I am not encouraging you to go out and buy the most expensive equipment if you're just going to be a novice ice fisherman, because as you can see with this slideshow, some of the stuff is pretty expensive. And I'm just going to mention some of the things and not cover everything in depth too of certain things. Because ice fishing can be dangerous too, so I've included some safety equipment. So the first thing you need is warm clothes, or else you're going to end up getting frostburn on your fingers or face, or which is not what I want, which would be snow pants or bibs, gloves, winter hat, warm coat, and long underwear. You can just wear these that you have for doing work outside or for deer hunting and stuff, and it'll work fine. Or you can go out and buy your own special ice fishing warm clothes, which will cost more money, but you can do that if you'd like to. But you don't necessarily need to do that if you're a novice ice fisherman. The next thing you need is an auger. There's many different types of choices of augers. There's hand augers, gas-powered augers, propane-powered augers, electric auger, and there's augers adapters that can mount to your portable drills that you have. So a hand auger is your cheapest option. You can get ones as low as $49.99, I think I saw, for like a 5-inch auger. And they most commonly are 4 to 8-inch diameter, and then the cheapest option, but they require the most work. And then you need to make sure they have sharp blades. And you can probably get one off Craigslist or Facebook for like 10 or 20 or $30, although it may have dull blades. And you may need to buy blades, which the blades cost almost as much as some of the augers. The blades cost like $20, $30 a piece to replace, to take this into account. I think that'll be for any auger though. And the other type is the gas-powered auger, which is powered by gasoline, and these ones you need to pull start, and these were what the power augers were that they used in the past, and these will work fine. These usually come in between 6-inch and 12-inch diameter. They cost more money. You can get ones as cheap as $200 to cost as much as $500 or $600. You can buy these off Amazon or at Gander or Fleet Farm or wherever. Another option, which is more current, is an electric ice auger. And people like these over the gas augers because if you're in your ice shack or your ice castle fish house, you don't want to make it all smoky by running the gas auger, so you can use an electric powered auger. But the downside to the electric augers is the battery only lasts for so long, and the colder it gets, the shorter the battery life is. I've never really fished with one, and they're quieter than the gas auger, but these are commonly in 6 to 12-inch diameter holes too. I think each state has its own size of hole that's legal or illegal. So you gotta read your regs before going out ice fishing. And then another type of auger came out more recently is the propane powered ice auger, which is approximately $350 to $500 from when I looked on Amazon. And these are easier to start than a gas powered auger, which is probably why they're more popular. But I'm sure they cost more to run than a gas powered auger. But I know some people really like these propane powered augers. And another option is a cordless drill ice auger adapter, which can range from a $30 adapter you can buy to attach to your StrikeMaster Mora auger, which is pictured in the hand auger, or you can buy like a K drill or a Nills drill, which will will mount right up to a cordless drill. And I think you want a cordless drill with a 1/2-inch chuck if you're going to use these. So now the next thing you do is you need to keep your hole clean that you're going to use for ice fishing. So you can buy an ice scoop, and you can buy ones as simple as this plastic scoop, which is like $3 or $4. You can get them as cheap as, and these work fine for jigging or work good if you have a smaller hole. But if you're like using tip outs and you need to break the ice out of the hole when they freeze up, it's better to have one you can chip the side out, like the one I have on the left here, which I'm covering up, which I'll need to fix. which these ones cost more like $15 or $20. But they're handy for doing tip ups. The only issue about the metal ones is they kind of stick to your hands when it gets real cold out, which you don't want to have happen. And then the ice fishing rod and reels, you can get rod and reel combos as cheap as $15 for spinning combos, and you can get the old fashioned rods for less than $10. And you can probably buy the old fashioned rods for like $2 or $5 off of Facebook or Craigslist classified. And for action, I would prefer to use a light or ultralight action for panfish, especially if you're just using small jigs. And I would use like a medium to heavy action for walleye, pike, or trout because they're bigger fish and you want a harder, stronger hook set. And you generally fish with bigger baits for the larger fish. And I usually would run 2 to 4 pound mono or fluorocarbon line for panfish, and 6 or 8 pound I usually use for jigging spoons or game fish. But I know some people use braid, like if they're after lake trout or fishing really deep. But it's up to your type of fishing you like. If you're just going out and jig for panfish, you're probably best off using like 4 pound mono. For jigs, there's many types of ice jigs. They can cost anywhere from like $1 to $5 a piece. Your best bet if you were just starting off would just be to buy a combination pack from like Walmart or Amazon, like what I have a picture of, to get a variety of colors. And you usually tip the jigs with a waxworm or spike or crappie minnow. And if you don't have a flasher, just put your jig close to bottom, probably about 6 inches up off of bottom, and work it up and down a little bit, bounce it into bottom and pull it up higher. And usually your bluegills and perch are within a few feet of bottom. And crappies generally tend to be a little higher up in the water column, but you can also catch crappies down deeper. A lot of times without a flasher, when I catch crappies with the ice is when the bait's falling down. And the jigs work the best for panfish. And you just want to experiment with what you're tipping them with, depending on the fish's mood. You can also get plastics to put on these too, which will work. And jigging spoons are another commonly type of bait that's used for ice fishing. They work good for crappie, perch, trout, walleye, sauger, sometimes pike. You frequently will put spikes or a minnow head on the jigging spoon to give it some scent, and you just fish these more aggressive than you fish a jig and move them up and down more, and like they flutter out or have different fluttering actions, which will attract the fish in. And these can cost anywhere from like the $3 to $10 range. You can get some cheap ones that are $2. And a jigging wrap style bait is another type of bait that people use mostly for walleye or saugers or perch. The bigger ones are better for, as with the spoons, the larger sized ones are better for bigger fish, and the smaller sized ones are better for smaller fish. And the jigging wrap just like bounce up and down in a circle like a wounded fish. I don't really ice fish that much with jigging wraps, but I know some people really like them. And another technique that's commonly used, and if you're a beginner ice fisherman, you probably want to use is a tip up. They usually cost between $10 and $40. I have a review coming soon on a tip up as soon as I can get on the ice. It's going to be a funny review because it's not a good tip up. But so don't buy the set $8 one they have on Amazon that looks funky. They're good for northern pike, bass, walleye, sometimes trout. You usually put special braided tip up line like this Celsius line I have on a tip up in like 20 to 30 pounds. And you can, for bait on tip ups, for the accessories, usually put hooks, tie a hook with a split shot about a foot above the hook. And I usually put on a mono or fluorocarbon leader of like 2 to 5 feet, or you can use a wire leader if you're just targeting pike. I don't know. I think the fish are kind of finicky in the winter, so I think the clarity and going finesse with the leader seems to help, and something they can't see. And the bait usually put on tip up is a fathead minnow, golden shiner, white sucker, or dead smelt. And for some reason in North Dakota, the only thing you can use that's alive on for bait is a fathead minnow. I don't know why, because they don't have much laws and other things here. But like in Wisconsin, you can use any of the baits. And I think in Minnesota you can use all the baits I have listed, but you just can't transport them between lakes because of invasive species. You should just check your state laws before going fishing to know what's legal and not legal for bait. Because I think in South Dakota, in trout waters, you can't use live bait too, in Minnesota too. So just check the laws before you go out. And a good thing to get you started would be to look at the map of the lake. You can get maps off the internet. I think you can download Fishity on your phone, which is free, and you can get lake maps on your phone. You can also get a Navionics app, which is like $15 per year on your phone, and you can look for structures such as weed edges, points, drop-offs. Or you can do the lazy method and just go where others are fishing and fish by them, which can work too. So those are a good way to get started ice fishing. And flashers are another choice. If you were just to go a few times, I would not advise to go buy a flasher. If you were to go ice fishing a lot, I would advise to buy one. The cheapest ones you can get are like $250, and the fancier ones are like $600. This is just an option. You definitely do not need one of these to start ice fishing. You need a chair to sit on. You can just use a normal camping or lawn chair. Like a fold up or tripod chair works best because it's easiest to take out on the ice. And then another option is the ice shack. You can get ice shacks as cheap as around $100 to as much as thousands of dollars. If you want to, they have specialized ice campers even. Would you see a lot of out when I go out ice fishing this year? And you want to get some ice safety equipment. You can buy some safety picks in case you fall through the ice, which help you get up on the ice, which cost about $10 to $20. And cleats to keep you from falling over on the ice when there's not snow on it can cost like in the $10 to $30 range.